When were you set up to fail? My parents expected me to fail at absolutely everything so my siblings would look better by comparison. My parents were desperate to live vicariously through their kids, so they had my older brothers Cameron and Luke. And then I came around unplanned when they'd already had their golden children, so they decided my job was to make the boys shine even brighter. The pattern started when I was 7 and said I wanted piano lessons. My mom laughed and said, "Oh honey, you don't have musical fingers like Luke does. Look at how elegant his are compared to yours." When I got excited about soccer, my dad shook his head and told me, "Cameron has the athletic build in this family." When I kept pushing to do something, they eventually exploded. "Why should we be spending money when we don't expect anything from you?" Luke said I should be grateful that I wasn't under the kind of pressure they were. The whole thing came to a head when I turned 16 and started talking about college. My parents called this formal family meeting at our kitchen table like they had rehearsed their speech. My mother folded her hands and said, "Sweetheart, we need to have an honest conversation about family roles. Luke is Harvard material and Cameron has MBA written all over him, but every family needs balance. We need you to understand that someone has to be the cautionary tale that makes their success stories more compelling. That's just how family dynamics work." Dad said, "This is how you can contribute to the family legacy. Your struggles will make Luke and Cameron's achievements mean so much more." When I asked what struggles he meant, he finally spelled out the life they envisioned for me. No college, no marriage, just a minimum wage job and a room in their basement. "We'll never kick you out," they said, beaming like I should thank them. "After all, someone needs to be here to take care of us when we're older, and your brothers will be too busy for that." From that day on, they sabotaged everything. When I applied to colleges, my mom called admissions offices pretending to be my guidance counselor, saying, "I'm concerned this student isn't emotionally ready for college. She has behavioral issues we're monitoring." My dad would call potential employers with his concerned parent routine. "My daughter tends to quit when things get challenging. I don't want you to waste your time training her." The relationship sabotage was the cruelest part. My mom told my first boyfriend that I had feminine hygiene issues, and when I confronted her, she shrugged and said, "Honey, I was protecting him from making a mistake. I'm protecting you from getting too attached to something that wasn't going to work out anyway." I started wondering if maybe they were right, and they were just saving me the humiliation of failing at everything I tried. I called my grandmother crying, and she cut me off and told me to get my butt over to her house right this minute. I ended up living with her for 6 months, much to my parents' fury. Those 6 months were like a fairy tale. I did what I want when I wanted. When I nervously asked my grandmother if it was okay if I applied for a job, she looked confused and said, "Isn't that what parents want their kids to do?" She put my A+ English paper up on her refrigerator, and when I got the part-time job I applied for, and she casually said, "I'm so proud of you." I started sobbing so hard she thought I was injured because I realized no one had ever said that to me before. I really thought things were going to be okay now. But it turns out my parents weren't done trying to ruin my life. They started a whisper campaign around town, with my dad telling neighbors I was struggling with substances, and my mom calling my friends' parents to warn them about my poor choices. Dad showed up at my job screaming about how I was tearing the family apart and told my manager, "This girl has serious psychological problems and shouldn't be working with customers." When security escorted him out, he yelled to me, "You'll come crawling back when you realize what a failure you are. We were just trying to stop you from humiliating yourself." They even hired a private investigator to document my failures, but their obsession finally backfired when he got uncomfortable with their requests and called the police. The police investigation revealed years of harassment, including saved emails to employers, recorded calls to colleges, and financial records showing payments to people instructed to reject my applications. The police brought the evidence before a judge who immediately gave me a restraining order and told me, "Don't ever let unhappy people tell you what you can and can't do." I don't miss my parents, but I hate that this process ruined my relationship with my brothers. They say they're just upset I hurt our parents, but I think really they don't know how to deal with the fact that my life is going well and theirs aren't. Cameron's NBA dreams didn't work out, and he's making minimum wage coaching Pee-wee softball. Luke never got into Harvard, and he's still living at home in the basement that was supposed to be mine. I graduated college with honors and built an amazing career, but it's hard to feel good when my brothers are suffering because that goes against everything I was taught. What's funny is my parents were right all along. I am different from my brothers. I'm the successful